everybody. Welcome back. Well, I thought of a few more things that, I forgot to put into the first video. So I'm going to talk about it in this one. And this is going to be on when you're first starting out on the keto diet. Okay. Here, this is just a suggestion. Do it however you want. But, when you're a senior and, maybe your metabolism isn't so good like it was when you were young. So, and let's say you've kind of been a high carb machine. Your body is used to a certain kind of diet. And when you make a big transition to a different type of diet, way of eating, it's not, I wouldn't just call it a diet, I call it a way of eating. And you make this big change because, you've been maybe consuming the wrong type of oils, uh, too much carbs, um, you know, maybe maybe you were eating a better diet, but probably not. So your body is used to knows how to burn carbs. You know, that's what it's used to. And when you change over to keto, your body needs to become a fat burning machine instead of a carb burning machine. I mean, it's like being a car, and the car is used to, uh, getting low grade fuel, and maybe it would run better on the premium, the higher grade, fuel. But when you switch over, maybe hit a putter and spot, and uh, maybe they're just not used to, you know, using the premium uh, fuel. Maybe this is a bad analogy, but anyway, it's like your body. Uh, the food you eat is fuel. Okay, and so maybe because there's something called the keto flu, and it's you can have really uh, a rough time starting out with your digestion. You might have a lot of diarrhea. You might experience some other issues that could cause you to say, "Ew, gosh, I can't handle this. Forget this, diet." Well, maybe you could, help yourself to avoid that a little bit. Kind of start out slow, because part of the keto, diet is, high fats. Now, personally, me myself, I can't handle high fats. My system does not do a good job of burning fat if I have too much. So by having, taking in lower fat uh, and low carbs, then, eventually my system is going to have to burn something. And since it's not getting the high carbs anymore, it's going to burn the body fat. It's going to, seek out something to burn. So therefore, that will help you, you know, lose the weight. Because if you're consuming a lot of fat, it's going to have plenty of fat uh, to burn if you're able to metabolize that well. And so then it's not going to take it from uh, the fat from your body. Make sense? And so when you first start out, make sure you're getting plenty of protein and maybe fiber, salad. Have a salad and your cruciferous type of vegetables. Your broccoli and cauliflower. Maybe some cooked cabbage. Um, it might be helpful. Um, some some probiotics. Um, let's see what else. Brussels sprouts, asparagus, that kind of stuff, and cucumbers, um, maybe some apple cider vinegar. Drink some apple cider vinegar. That's supposed to help with uh, di- digestion. I use that a lot, and if you need a little bit more oils, uh, try uh, your MCT oil. That will, because that's easy for your system to digest. Um, and then make sure you get plenty of omega-3 oils. That's your fish. Your salmon, your sardines, um, tuna, uh, you know, that kind of stuff. Because that's good for your body too. Okay, so that's what you might want to do is when you're first starting out. And I mean, some people say, oh, eat a ton of butter, or eat. I can't do that. I mean, if I have too much butter at a meal, it's going to go straight through me. I'm going to have uh, diarrhea issues. And, even though see, it was really hard for me to, get into ketosis and remain in ketosis because of the, I just, don't do, the high fat real good. I mean, like if I eat a um, ribeye steak, you know, you got some fat on it, and boy, it's tasty. It makes your it makes your steak taste even better. I mean, you get it kind of crispy, so uh, it's yummy. So, but it's not like an over abundant amount of uh, fat. So there was only so much fat on a steak, and so I really didn't have a whole lot of issues with that. And so just see how it goes. It can take a few weeks, at least a few weeks, for your body to be able to switch over. Because the first thing it's going to burn, because it's used to burning carbs, is the carbs that you take in. And whether you're counting net carbs or total carbs, it's you know you just have to see how things go. But a young person, could probably handle starting out with the high fat. Can maybe switch over from just by going low carb. Can switch over pretty quick from uh, being carb burning, to fat burning. And but everybody's different. So, but I know my, as far as my metabolism is concerned, and it just didn't do well, you know, having too much fat starting out, you know, and that includes, butter. and and even, even the oils, like the olive oils, all that, I kind of had to, you know, I had to learn how my body reacted, you know, to stuff like that. So, but I just wanted to, bring this up because I forgot about, you know, to bring it up in the other video because one of my viewers wanted to know, like, how long it took me, to lose my weight, and said uh, it's going to be starting out soon, switching over, and so I wanted to, make sure she would, would kind of know from the beginning, what to watch out for, and maybe how to get started. Um, if you've been on the diet for a while, that might not be an issue with you. Your body may have, be used to, uh, has changed over, knows how to burn fat, you know, and instead of carbs. So it just, see, I guess I was eating more carbs than I realized. Plus a lot of like processed foods. Oh man, I was, frozen foods and already prepared meals and stuff that comes in boxes and cans, and that was easy. You know, I was just being lazy, I guess. And then I also got to, like, I found out that I loved apple fritters. And I was every time I was going to the grocery store, I was getting apple fritters, by the box, six of them, and I would freeze them. And every day with my breakfast, with my morning coffee, I would get out one of those apple fritters and stick it in the microwave and heat it up and just, enjoy the hell out of it. And it was putting the weight on me, it was, and, it was cooked in the bad oils. It had, sugar on it and this icy stuff. And I mean, it was, and donuts. I love donuts. Yeah, I did. But can't have that stuff now. Like on holidays, like, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and, I will treat myself to also like pie. And I love cherry pie. These little bitty tiny, pies you can get for under $1. They're like 75 cents, 80 cents for you know, I I treat myself to that, but I wouldn't eat all the crust. I just would eat a little bit of the top crust and the filling. and during the holidays, I would put on about 3 or 4 pounds, but that wasn't too bad. It didn't take much for me to get rid of that. So so anyway, if you have any questions, uh, you can ask. Uh, I think that's all I needed to add to this. I mean, because some say, do high, the high fat, just, that might be fine once you get, your body switched switched over. It's like a train going down a track, and you know you're going down, you're going a different path now. So, they got to throw the switch and switch you over to another train track. Well, that's what keto does. You switch over from, your engine burning them carbs and all that, and all of a sudden over to, fat. It's got to burn something. You got to have some, that's the fuel system. So if your body's used to all those carbs, and uh, it might take a little time. It might take 3 weeks. It might take you 4 weeks. It might take you 6 weeks. Who knows? Um, but you just have to take it for a test drive. you know, and so I guess I'll end this video here, and I'm getting ready to wash up some dishes, and I got some breakfast sausage to, to throw in a pan and cook it up. I'll do the whole box. I get a box of 30 patties, and I just cook them all up. You know, put as many in the pan as it'll fit. Those are done. Throw in some more, until I cook them all up, and then I put them in a Ziploc bag, and then I have it for a couple of days, and then after that I stick the rest in the freezer. And then when I want sausage, I just take take a few out or a couple out, throw it in the microwave, and I got something to go with my eggs. And I got some avocados over there, wrapping it up. And so I'm going to be having, I think, some sausage and some scrambled eggs with some avocado, and that'd be tasty. Yeah. So yeah, today I still got eating on some of that foods that I had prepared and froze. So I got one of those out. It was um, the beef and rice, mixture, the Cajun, dirty rice, and then I had salad, and I was stuffed. It was well, I threw some cheese on that dirty rice. Mixed that in there. It was so good. But that's not even something that I have often, because it does have the rice in it, can be kind of carby. Um, and then so that's why a lot of my next meal, which I'll be having in pretty soon, um, it won't be a carby meal. It'll be a non-carby meal. It'll be more carnivore-ish. You know, uh, so that's what I watch out for. But I'm on maintenance right now. But so that's it, and I'll get this loaded up, and I'll see you later. And I hope this answers any. I hope this helps. For people who are first starting out. Um, on changing their uh, way of eating, and going in a new direction in life. And it's a little different when you're a senior. And so take care, and love and hugs, and thank you all for watching, and I love you. Bye bye. Subscribe and like. Thank you. Thanks for watching.